Hello, Scorpio. Thank you so much, as always, you guys, for being here. Okay, Scorp, so looking at your second week of December, you pulled Faith, Love, and Triumph of Lies. Boy, I think that some of you have really lost faith in love, and very specifically as far as like how you feel about the people that you have loved or any kind of relationships. Triumph of Lies, this is realizing that there's nothing there. It's almost like, I think that a part of you has realized that you've been projecting things onto people that they just are not, or that they cannot live up to. And they like don the mask, but after a while, you come to this realization that there just isn't anything there. So, faith, this is talking about having faith restored, but also about you being more mindful about what you place your faith into. But with love being there, this has to do with how you see love, how you experience love. And it may be that, this faith kind of returns where love comes back into your life, and not just, love as far as like with another person, but love for yourself and the way that you experience things. Like there's clearly been this like loss of faith, but Triumph of Lies though, this I think is going to be for those of you who realize that, you're done dealing with people who are not what they appear to be, whether or not you are projecting something onto them. So love says it may be time to powerfully give or receive love, to forgive someone or overcome issues from the past where there has been hurt and disappointment. Now, for some of you, if you have lost faith in your relationship, it may be time for there to be more love brought in. But, that's easy enough to say, but if you're losing faith, right, like something really powerful has to come in to bring that faith back. And of course, love being the highest vibration, it makes sense. But I don't know, I think maybe some of you are finding it hard to forgive. But I feel like this is the reminder that, you may have been dressing something up to make it look better than what it is. That's really what this talks about. So Triumph of Lies, if something hurts me, I change myself so it can stop. There's also that, right? Like how many times have you had to change who you are to make the painful situation stop? And that very well could be where there's this like loss of faith and love. But it says, not all that glitters is gold. Emptiness is felt when there is nothing under the dress. So there's that realization that there really isn't anything there. Like you may have been projecting and then having to come, to the realization that, yeah, this isn't what I thought it was, or it wasn't what I fantasized it would be. Now that's only going to be for some of you. For others of you, there has been this complete loss of faith in love and how, love plays a part in your life. But it may be up to you to, forgive. And that doesn't mean, right, like, you don't have to sacrifice a part of yourself to forgive somebody for causing you pain, right? It's about forgiving yourself for being in a situation that has caused you that kind of pain, right? It reminds me very much of the forgiveness in Chakra Wisdom, when it talks about forgiveness is forgiving yourself for loving people who have hurt you. But, it may be time now to just kind of like love yourself and forgive yourself, especially if you have been reaching out to things that are not what they appear to be, right? Oh, okay. Okay. You're overall the Three of Swords, heartbreak. So hopefully with this being the overall, we're talking about this being a catalyst for the change that needs to happen. And I'm hoping that, besides realizing that something is not what it appears to be, that there is a new experience that brings you faith right? Because if this is what you're focusing on, it's either, you stay within the pain of the heartbreak experienced, or you use it to push you into better and more loving experiences, right? Whew, man. In the past, the Two of Pentacles. Okay, so, if you're continuing to feel heartbreak, it's because you're still in the balancing act, playing with something. I always look at the Two of Pentacles and I think you're keeping something in play. And it's like you're trying to almost bend over backwards to keep something going, if that makes sense. But this is really about you now realizing that there may be a decision that has to be made for you to let go of something that isn't manifesting into anything or into what you want it to be. But you're playing with it. You're still playing with it. In the present, the Nine of Wands, right? So like you've been through a lot with all of this, and it makes sense that there's this huge wall that's being built. This is you protecting yourself and protecting what is important to you. But, there's the persistence there. So it's almost like continuing to keep a situation in balance, but yet you have felt so much heartbreak and pain that you're willing to continue dealing with it, but, this wall is starting to be formed. Like, I'm still playing with this, but I don't want to let this in. And, again, with the Three of Swords, I'm hoping that this kind of like pushes you to end this or make the decision to let it go. Future conditions, the King of Pentacles, interesting. So, and this is kind of where that feeling was coming through, where it was like, it's easy enough to say that through doing inner work that things can get better for you, right? Like, as within, so without. But there's this feeling that something kind of comes along and creates this catalyst for faith to be restored. Like, obviously Scorpio has the ability to create whatever transformation is necessary, especially if you're feeling, a lack of faith and love. But it's so much more meaningful and in-depth if it's something unexpected coming through, and that's kind of what I feel like with this King of Pentacles. But besides that, though, we're talking about success and knowing what is worth taking a risk on. And it may be that, this experience has pushed you to this place with the King of Pentacles where, the wisdom from the experience has been gained and you know how to use it now in order to create more successful situations for you. Now, on the other hand, this could be about somebody that you're dealing with in future conditions. Now, and there's two ways to look at this with the Three of Swords. It's like you may be bending over backwards in a situation where you're needing to protect yourself, but yet you continue to do so. And it may be because of, the emotions that are attached to a certain person. But it's like, do they actually want to give what's necessary to fix this? Because I look at the King of Pentacles and I think he has the means to make something happen. But, is he willing to do so? Is he willing to give what's necessary to make this situation better? Or are we talking about somebody who is, materialistic and only thinking about themselves? So we'll see what's happening here in future conditions. But, there's kind of two ways to look at this. Your best path to follow, the Three of Wands. Immediately when I see this, I think that, first of all, we're talking about actively waiting. Now, if you shifted your awareness away from this heartbreaking situation and you made the decision to kind of like let it go, what else would be coming into your awareness? Because I feel like here with the Three of Wands, there's something else that you're looking for, that you're expecting. And this, to me, I always look at it and think you should already know what to expect because your actions have led to this now, and now you're seeing something being returned. But this, though, is about passion and excitement and, wanting to continue to see where things are going. Now, I also look at this, though, and think there's something else in your awareness that you may have been waiting for that you haven't been able to see because of the wall with the Nine of Wands, right? So there's the actively waiting for, something better, something different to come in. But with that, I would be careful because, again, you don't want to look to your outer world to fix what is going on within you. But this also very much is like this feeling of, this may be your main focus and all that is within your awareness right now, but there's something else you may be missing. And the advice here may be to, open up to something else being available to you or something else coming in. But your actions, though, have led to this. But, because it's the Three of Wands, I feel like it's looking towards something more positive, more healing, right? Ooh. In your environment, judgment. Damn, man. And this is what you may have been blocking out. So there's, this bending over backwards. And then you have this defensive nature with the Nine of Wands, but with judgment, it's like this wake-up call kind of happens. And I think for some of you, it's like you're starting to realize what you have been blocking out of your life because your focus has only been on a situation that only causes you heartbreak and pain. This is huge, though. It's the review. So reviewing past situations and the judgments that you've placed on them. But this is in order for you to rise above that, right? It's the resurrection. But it requires you to look at things differently and reserve judgments that you may have been holding. You may not have been allowing, that kind of like viewpoint to come in, which is understandable with the Three of Swords being the overall, right? But this is a huge wake-up call. Your hopes and your fears, temperance. Immediately what I got from this is hoping that by being patient, something will change. And the other part of this, though, too, is when we're talking about, faith and love being restored to you in your life. This may be, you hoping that you have it within yourself to maintain balance throughout this. And no longer allow it to affect you with the Nine of Wands, right? Because judgment's saying, no, right? We have to look at this differently. Otherwise, you're going to continue to be in this place of constantly being defensive, but willing to continue to put up with stuff. That's what I feel like is happening there. But it makes sense, right? And this is so powerful. Can I maintain my inner balance through this heartbreaking situation? And then coming out the Knight of Wands, interesting. So, and there again, right? It's like something comes through in a different way that I think is going to provide you some kind of, excitement here. Now, obviously, the other part of this with the Knight of Wands coming out and looking at the Three of Swords as the overall, we're talking about, in and out situations. And it creating consistent heartbreak for you, where we're looking for something a little bit more, realistic, practical, long-lasting with the King of Pentacles. But I feel like because of judgment being in your environment, that we're looking at, the benefit of experiencing the heartbreak, if that makes sense, and it leading you to this kind of wisdom with the King of Pentacles. And there's this success over this, but there's also something else that may be coming into your awareness that may be creating some kind of security and stability for you. And it could be another person. But with the Knight of Wands, we're talking about excitement, right? Following your passion. and not being attached to anything long term. So it's interesting to see that, because, you know, for me immediately, I'm like, okay, so you're just like, yeah, I'm not going to continue to stay attached to situations that leave me feeling bad. It's like breaking the habit almost. The Hermit. So you've been reflecting on this for some time. And some of you may have been in solitude, and this may be something coming through that, you know, pushes you in a different direction. But it's coming out of the heartbreak. The Six of Wands. So there's recognition for, you know, what is going on with you, but then there's also this recognition for you doing the right thing, especially with Judgment being there. And then the Ace of Swords, new beginning and clarity and truth. So, and right, like all the inner work is kind of going on here. So you're not just kind of like flying by the seat of your pants and getting involved with something that's sweeping you up. I think it's more so about allowing yourself now to have different experiences where there's no attachments. The Hermit and the Two of Pentacles, whatever you have been playing with or being flexible with and not making a decision on, and you just keep dealing with it, and it's creating this heartbreak and you being defensive with the Nine of Wands, needing to protect yourself. You've been looking at this for quite some time, is what I feel like. For some of you, you may have been in solitude for a while looking at this. And really looking at, you know, the decision that you make and where it's going to lead you. And then you have this victory over the situation. And not only that, but this recognition that's coming through. And because of the King of Pentacles being in future conditions, and it doesn't matter whether this is male or female, it doesn't matter. It's about the energy, right? So absolutely, this could be about somebody who sees your struggle, but also sees the way that you're handling it. And that's where this like kind of positive recognition may be coming through from somebody who can provide something to you that you will be able to then use practically in your life. Where we're no longer focusing on the heartbreak, but we're able to experience something different. And then you have the Ace of Swords, where there's that new beginning that's being created in truth and honesty, which is great. Especially for those of you who feel like, you know, you've been silent through the experience. You know, especially for those of you who have gone into solitude for a little bit. But I feel like, I don't know, I like the Knight of Wands in this situation. Obviously, if you have something coming in hot and heavy, then you're going to know immediately that it's not something that's going to bring anything long term, right? And if you're dealing with materialistic people, then this is where the kind of reflection comes in, where you choose to do the right thing here. But there's still the recognition with the Six of Wands, right? It's not just about victory. It's about the people that are recognizing what you've done. And we're talking about positive attention here, especially with the Ace of Swords and this new beginning that's happening. I like where it's leading, because I think that this is a situation you've been playing with for too long. You know, and again, I say that because of the Hermit kind of clarifying that. But having heartbreak be a catalyst for change, right? For Scorpio, that is the definition of transformation. You know, it would make sense that it has to happen that way. It has to happen that way. But what I like with the Knight of Wands coming out is this, you know, not needing to have an attachment anymore. Energy. Yeah. Oh, very nice. So energy is changing around you, and it's going to cause this transformation that is going to lead you to understanding the purpose of the experience. I like it. I like the idea of new energy and not continuously dealing with this kind of heavy, stagnant Nine of Wands, Three of Swords situation, right? Don't let pride get in your way. And then have faith in your dreams. So when I look at that in context with the reading, don't let pride get in your way. This is, to me, what kind of happens after dealing with painful situations. You know, it's so, for me, like the best example that I can give from my own experience. When I was 18, I was in a physically abusive relationship. And when he finally went to jail, there was a part of me that became very angry and very bitter and very, zero tolerance. And I feel like, that could be the case for some of you, where it's like the bad past experience has changed you in such a way where it may close the door to your dreams, right? So, again, here we're talking about a heartbreaking situation being the catalyst for transformation for you, where there isn't an attachment to this situation anymore that caused you this pain. But I feel like if you just opened up your awareness a little bit, you might see something coming through that really, kind of helps you experience things in a more practical but more exciting way. And we're not focused on the long term here. We just need to experience something different than pain and then constantly needing to protect yourself. So I look at this as like, don't close the door, right? And faith, obviously, having faith in your dreams, especially for those of you who are having issues with having faith in giving or receiving love.